This is the teacher Haris Bhatt, and you are seeing my YouTube channel Learn Accounting with Sir Haris. Today we are going to solve a paper of AS Accounting that has come in February-March 2025, paper 1, MCQs paper of February-March 2025, variant 1-2. Obviously, in February-March, we have only one variant which goes to India actually. And thanks God, thanks to all Indian students that they have approached me for this paper also. So February-March 2025, variant 1-2, let's start the paper. I've already discussed with you that the MCQs paper will be an easy one. The last 7 MCQs will be from cost accounting. The 23 MCQs will be from financial accounting, and I will upload the guess on 1st June, inshallah ta'ala. So again, obviously, as it is a very new paper, so it is going to be an easy one, obviously. All the O-levels and AS papers regarding MCQs, the level of complexity has gone down considerably from 2022 till now. So if you want to get 30, 29 marks, 28 marks, 29 marks, you need to do papers from 2018, 19, 20, 21. So these papers, if you want to get 28, 29 marks, then you have to do the papers of 18, 19, 20, 21, all variants. It means that it will become 28 papers, around 30 papers, you can say, if you go with 17 also. Because the papers from 22, 23, 24 till now, they have gone easier to easier. So let's start. Which statement explains the realization concept February-March 2025 and 2? The relation concept says that when the goods are passed to the buyer, we will record sales. So A is the answer. A business recognizes sales revenue when it delivers the goods to a credit customer. When the goods are delivered to the credit customer, it means we will record sales, either cash is received or not. A business recognizes sales revenue when it receives an order from a credit customer. No. Recognizes sales revenue when it receives cash from customer. No. A business recognizes sales revenue when the customer sells the goods onwards. No. When the goods are delivered to the customer, we will record sales. This has come as a first MCQs regarding accounting concept in AS, and it has come as a last MCQs in igcse 2025-0452, MCQs number 35. Same MCQ. Okay. On the first day of a financial period before trading started, a business owner introduced her personal items to the business consisting of goods costing 5,000. Which entries should have been made to record this? Whenever the owner puts his investment into the business, that is known as capital. So capital is going to be credited. It means that either the answer is B or D. But the answer is B, inventory debit and capital credit. Why, sir? Because the business has not purchased the goods for resale purpose. It is the goods which has been introduced as personal items into the business by the owner. So that is going to be treated as a current asset for the business. So inventory is going to be debit and capital is going to be credit because the owner has put his investment in the form of inventory, right? So not purchases to capital, it is inventory to capital B. Next, why might a business adopt a computerized accounting system? To ensure that the accounting records are free from errors, to ensure that the accounting records are free from fraud, to ensure that the accounting records are arithmetically accurate. So the answer is D, 3 only. To ensure that the accounting records are basically free from error. Because to ensure that the accounting records are free from error, that is not possible. Because even in computerized accounting system, the error can be made by the input, by the person who is going for the input. To ensure that the accounting records are free from fraud, that is also not fraud. Everybody who is having an access to accounting records can go for the fraud if he knows about the system. To ensure that the accounting records are arithmetically accurate, that is the thing. Because whatever you enters, if you enter it correct, it is going to be arithmetically accurate. It will give you the same answer correctly. So D is the answer, 3 only, right? So 3 only is going to be the answer for MCQs number 3. Next, we'll go with the next MCQs. That is 4. A company's profit for the year is 20,000. Capital income of 5,000 has been treated as revenue, and capital expenditure of 4,000 has been treated as revenue expenditure. So it's quite easy. The profit currently is 20,000. See, the profit currently is 20,000. The capital income which should be recorded in the statement of financial position, has been recorded as revenue income. It means that in 20,000, we have added 5,000 as income, which is wrong. So minus 5,000, because that is capital income, and we have treated as revenue income means we have treated as income statement as income, and capital expenditure of 4,000 has been treated as revenue expenditure. So that was basically a purchase of non-current asset, which we have recorded as an expense. So because of that, 4,000 has been subtracted from 20,000, which should not have been subtracted. So we'll add 4,000, right? So 20,000 minus 5,000, 15,000 plus 4,000. So B is the answer. 19,000 is the answer. Because this revenue income is not an income. So 20,000 minus 5,000. And this expenditure is not an expenditure. So that has been subtracted wrongly. So we will add them up. Next. So B is the answer. 19,000. The following costs for a business led to a newly purchased machine, alteration to the factory building to install the machine, payment of insurance for the new machine, the final purchase price of the machine agreed with the supplier, the price of the machine before the discount from the supplier. Which cost will be treated as capital expenditure? So out of them, which cost is going to be treated as capital expenditure? So we know that the purchase, any expenditure incurred on the purchase of a non-current asset is a capital expenditure. So the final purchase price of the machine agreed with the supplier, that is going to be the capital expenditure. And alteration to the factory building to install the machine, that is also the capital expenditure, because the factory building is going to be renewed, or it is going to be the alteration, installation. So non-current asset is going to be increased by 1 and 3. So 1 and 3 is the answer. So B is the answer. 1 and 3 is the answer. Insurance is an expense, and price of the machine before the discount from the supplier will not be recorded anywhere because there is no transaction occurring on that amount. Leonardo has owned a delivery van for some years and has depreciated it each year. How should he record the provision for depreciation? This is a little technical question, but rather very easy. How should he record the provision for depreciation? In the journal, always remember that in the journal, we used to pass the entry to record depreciation, and that is profit and loss account debit, provision for depreciation credit. So charge for the year. C is the answer. In the statement of financial position, we subtract total depreciation from the non-current asset, that is accumulated depreciation. Charge for the year does not come in the statement of financial position. In the statement of financial position, total depreciation will be subtracted from the non-current asset, cost of the non-current asset. So accumulated depreciation. And in the statement of profit and loss, again, we will record charge for the year, because the same entry which is going to pass in the journal, profit and loss account to provision for depreciation, will come in the statement of profit and loss account as expense, and subtracted from the statement of financial position, we subtract accumulated depreciation. So C is the answer for MCQs number 6. Next, any problem? A business depreciates its motor vehicle at 20% per annum using the straight line method. Depreciation is charged on a month-by-month basis. So number one is this, that 20% per annum is quite easy. Straight line method is also easy, but depreciation is month-to-month basis. That is an important point, right? On 30th June, not on the start of the, after 6 months, in the current financial year, a new van was purchased at a cost of 20,000, and an old van which cost 18,000 bought at the beginning of the previous year on 1st January was part exchange for 14,000. The balance was paid by check, means that the remaining amount of 6,000 has been paid by check. If you go for the entry for the new van, 20,000 van debit, bank credit 6,000 and trade-in credit 14,000. But what is the total reduction in the profit for the current financial year ended 31st December as a result of this? So he is basically wanted us to find the expense figure. What is the depreciation expense? Because you know that in statement of profit and loss, we record depreciation expense and one more thing, that is the profit on the disposal or loss on the disposal. So let's go for it. This asset, which has been traded in for 18,000, that has been purchased in the previous year on 1st January. So it has been used for the whole year in the last year. So the depreciation is 20%. That is going to be 3,600. Again, in the current year in which it is sold actually, or part exchange, it is again used, but only for 6 months, because 30th June, it has been sold or part exchange. So 18,000 into 20% into 6/12, the answer is going to be 1,800, right? So the total depreciation, the current year depreciation on the asset sold in the current year is 1800, but the total depreciation on this asset is going to be, I think so, how much it is going to be? 5400. Okay, right. 5400 is the total depreciation on the asset sold. Now, we have purchased another asset of 20,000, which is a new asset in the current year. So we'll charge depreciation on that asset, 20,000 into 20%. But because it has been purchased on 30th June, we have used that asset only for the next 6 months. July, August, September, October, November, December. So we will calculate depreciation for 6 months, which comes 2,000. So 2,000 is the depreciation for the year. That's fine. It is an expense, reduction in profit. 1,800 will also be the depreciation for the year on the asset sold for the first 6 months when it was in our custody, when it has been used. So 3,800 is the total depreciation. But let's talk about the profit or loss. The asset has been part exchanged for 14,000. So let's calculate. 18,000 is the cost. Total depreciation till now is 5,400. So let's calculate the book value. Let me calculate the book value. 18,000 minus 5,400. It is going to be 12,600. Okay. And it has been traded in or sold for 14,000. So definitely it is going to be a profit of 1,400, which will increase our gross profit. So it means that by 1,400, our gross profit will increase. And by 2,000 plus 1,800, 3,800, our profit will decrease. So 3,800 is an expense, 1,400 is the profit. So the natural total expense by which the profit is going to be reduced is going to be 2,400. So A is the answer. For 7, A is the answer. Yes, we have to go for this whole calculation. And this will come in the exam. Yes. Okay. So 2,400.
सर ये 1400 कहाँ से आया?
Our depreciation expense will increase by 2,000 and 1,800, that is 3,800. And we have a profit of 1,400 because the book value of the asset which has been given in part exchange is sold actually. That cost is 18,000 and the total depreciation to date is 5,400 on that asset. The book value is 12,600 and it is sold for 14,000. How come, sir? Because it is part exchange for 14,000. So the difference is 1,400 is going to be the profit. So because of the profit on sale of asset, profit will increase and by 3,800 profit will decrease. So overall, there is a reduction in profit by 2,400. Okay. Right? Now let's move forward. Which error will not affect the trial balance? Which error will not affect the trial balance? Posting of 3,000 purchases to the debit of the motor vehicle account. A is the answer. Very easy because we have debited purchase. We need to debit purchases. Instead of purchases, we have debited motor vehicle. So it's an error of principle. That is why it will not affect trial balance. B will affect because purchases, we have to give debit. We have given credit to motor vehicle. 3,000 road tax refund. Debit to motor vehicle, it is an income, but we have debited motor vehicle. 3,000 sales credit, but we have debit motor vehicle. So this will all, B, C, and D will have an impact on suspense. So A is the answer, that A will not affect the trial balance. Total of the trial balance of a business did not agree. A suspense account was opened for the difference. The following errors were then discovered. Total of the sales journal of 16,000 had been posted to the debit of purchase account. I will pass the entries because that will make my question easy. Total of the sales journal of 16,000 had been posted to the debit of purchases account. So we have to credit sales, but instead of crediting sales, we have debited purchases. So now what we'll do, spelling galat hoga doesn't matter. Purchases will be credited. First of all, correct the mistake. Sales will not be recorded. That will be recorded on the debit side. And on the debit side, we will write suspense with the double amount. The suspense will come with an amount of 28,000. Obviously, purchases will be credited by 16,000 and sales will also be credited by 16,000. If you want to do that, you can. Okay. Next, 7,000 had been correctly entered in the rent received account, but had been debited as 700 in the cash book. The entry is bank, debit and rent income credit by 7,000, but we have debited bank by 700. So we will debit, bank will be undercasted. We will debit bank more by 6,300 and suspense is going to be credited by 6,300 because the rent is correct. Because rent is correct. Only the debit side has been written short by 6,300. Now you will prepare the suspense account because we want to find the balance on the suspense account at the start, or whatever the balance will come, that is the difference in trial balance. We will place the difference with the name suspense, and that is difference in trial balance. So the suspense will be debited by 28,000 and credited by 6,300 with the entries. And here comes the difference in trial balance on the credit side. And what is the difference? You can tell me.
21700
minus 6,300, 21700. Let's see. इसमें तो आंसर ही नहीं है.
सर आपने फर्स्ट एरर में गलत किया. 16,000 प्लस 16,000
32,000. Yes. Yes. It will become 32,000. You are right. Thank you. So I will correct it. No problem. So this will be 32,000. And here I will write 32,000 and then here 6,300. Now, what is the answer?
25,700.
Yeah, 25,700 credit is going to be the answer. So C is the answer. 25,700 credit. Okay, let's move forward. A bookkeeper compared the business bank statement with the cash book. He then updated the cash book and finally prepared a bank reconciliation statement. Why was the bank reconciliation statement prepared? You know, nothing more easier than this question. Much easier. To ensure no transaction had been omitted from the cash book, to establish the value of unpresented checks, to explain the difference between the cash book balance and the bank statement balance, to find out if any check had been dishonored. So C is the answer. BRS is prepared to find difference between the cash book balance and the bank statement balance. So C is the answer, 10C. Which statement is not correct about the benefit to a business of maintaining control account? Beta, which is not the advantage of control account, which is not the objective of control account. That is what he is asking. Ensures that all types of error can be detected, helps in preparation of financial statement, provide immediate totals of trade receivable and trade payable, reduce risk of fraud as jobs are performed by different staff members. So always remember that sales ledger will be prepared by different person, right? And control account will be prepared by different person. So obviously risk of fraud will be reduced because they are prepared by different people. It helps in preparation of financial statement because we will find the total of trade receivable and trade payable directly. But it does not ensure that all types of errors can be detected. Remember that error of omission and commission can never be detected by preparing control account, right? So A is the answer, that his statement is not correct about the benefits to a business of maintaining control account. So control account does not ensure that all types of errors can be detected. Yes, it reduces errors and frauds, but all types of errors cannot be detected. A business maintains control account as part of the double entry. At the end of a financial period, the sale ledger control account balance of 64,200 did not agree with the total of individual sale ledger balance of the business. The following errors were discovered. There were no further errors. What was the total of the trade receivable at the end of the period after adjustments? So what we'll do, we will correct the control account only, remember, because ledger balance is not given. So we will correct the control account, whatever the errors has been done in control account, we will correct that and we'll find the corrected trade receivable balance. Number 1, irrecoverable debt of 800 entered in the sale ledger control account was omitted from the trade receivable account. It is an error in the sale ledger balance. It is an error in the individual trade receivable account, not in the control account. So it will not affect control account. We will not record this. Discount allowed of 950 were entered in the sale ledger control account, but were entered as 590 in the cash book. So discount allowed is recorded in sale ledger accounts. So individual accounts are recorded, but in cash book, from where it will go to control account, we have recorded discount allowed as 590. Remember that discount allowed comes on the credit side of control account. Yani, it will decrease the trade receivable. It will decrease control account. So we have recorded it as 590 rather than 950. So 360 is the difference. And with that, we have to we have to write it on the credit side. You can say like that also, or we have to subtract it from the control account. A contra for 4100 between accounts in the sale ledger and purchase ledger was reversed in the control account. You remember that contra comes on the credit side of SLCA and debit side of PLCA. But unfortunately, we have not credited it in the sale ledger control account. Rather, we have debited it in the sale ledger control account. Rather than writing it on the credit side, we wrongly have written it on the debit side. Now what we'll do? We will write 4100 on the credit side for the correction of error once. And then we again write 4100 on the credit side to record it on the credit side. So we have to subtract 4100 twice. So we can subtract 8200, or you can write 4100, subtract 4100 and 4100 twice. Even then it is fine. So then you can find the balance of collected balance of the control account. 64,200 minus 360 and minus 8200. 55640 is the answer of the corrected control account or corrected ledger balance. So 55640. B is the answer. So this is not a difficult one also. 55640. Sir, why we will not use the individual sale ledger error or entries in the individual sale ledger balance? Because of the reason that sale ledger balance is not given in the custom. So we can't use the sale ledger balance to correct it. We can only correct control account balance, and obviously whatever the corrected control account balance, the corrected sale ledger balance should be the same. So that's how we have done that. Which item will be included when valuing inventory? So that is carriage inward, that will be part of inventory, and purchase price. No cost of storage, no selling cost. So 1 and 3 is the answer. B is the answer. Means that inventory, we used to have an MCQs of inventory is valued at cost or NRV, whichever is less. But here, he just wants us that how the inventory is valued, cost price, purchase price, and whatever carriage cost we have paid, or any direct costs which are incurred with the inventory. So B answer 1 and 3. The following information is available. Opening, closing inventory purchases are given in the question. And he is saying that we have to find the closing inventory of the... Okay. So value of gross profit and profit for the year. We have to find the gross profit and profit for the year. So gross profit revenue, right? Opening inventory plus purchases minus closing inventory. Sorry, opening inventory plus purchases plus carriage inward minus closing inventory will get cost of sales. Revenue minus cost of sales will get gross profit. And from gross profit, we will add discount received 700 and we will subtract 3880 other expenses to find the profit for the year. If you want me to calculate it for you, I can. 800 plus 9260, right? Plus 130 and minus 1010. So cost of sales is 9180 minus 18,000. So 8820 is the gross profit. Okay. And now I'm going to add 700 and 8820 discount received and expenses will be subtracted. So 5640 is the answer for profit for the year. So B is the answer. 8820 and 5640. Very easy question. 15. X, Y, and Z are in partnership. What would be shown in the partnership appropriation account? Goods taken for personal use of X, interest on a long-term loan made by Y, interest on drawing made by Z. So goods drawing doesn't come in the appropriation account. Interest on loan comes in the income statement and current account. Interest on drawing comes in the appropriation account. So the answer is 3 only. D answer, 3 only, interest on drawing. Bella and Charlie are in partnership, sharing profit and losses in the ratio of 3:2, 3/5, 2/5. They have contributed capital in the same ratio. The partners provided the following information for the financial year. Profit for the year is 28,000. What is the interest on capital for Bella? Right? Profit share is given 6,000 and 4,000. Interest on drawing is also given. Salary is also given. Now, you remember that they have contributed capital in the same ratio. Bella and Charlie are in partnership, sharing profit and losses in the ratio of 3:2. Right? So the profit is basically 3:2, means 3/5 and 2/5. And the capital ratio is also the same. Profit for the year is 28,000. And profit share is also given, that is 6,000 and 4,000. Right? What is the interest on capital for Bella? So you need to find the interest on capital for Bella. So let's do that. You have to go for a calculation, reverse calculation. There are so many questions which are coming in the exam nowadays in which you have to go for reverse calculation. In AS, like company, like other errors, and in A2 also, so many questions are coming. So interest on drawing is going to be added 850 plus 550. I'm preparing the appropriation account basically, right? So 850 plus 550, that is going to be 1400. Then we'll subtract interest on capital. Salary we can subtract, okay, 16,900. Then we'll subtract interest on capital, which we don't know actually. And then what is going to be the profit? Profit is going to be 10,000. And the profit share, how come I know that 10,000? Because it is 6,000 and 4,000 for both the partners. It is given. So that's why I can easily use the percentage of profit through that way, that how it has been calculated and how it has been served between the two. Okay. Now I can solve it. I can find the interest on capital. 10,000 is the profit plus 16,900 because it is subtracted, or you can say 28,000, sorry, 28,000 plus 1,400 interest on drawing minus 16,900. The answer is 12,500. So minus 10,000. So 2,500 is going to be the interest on capital for both the partners, right? 2,500. I repeat again, 28,000 plus 1,400 interest on drawing minus 16,900 salary. The answer is 12,500. But the profit is 10,000. It means 2,500 is the interest on drawing total for both the partners, right? So when the interest on drawing for both the partners is 2,500 and the ratio between them is 3:2 and the capital is in the same ratio, so we can easily assess that the interest on capital will also be in the same ratio. So for Bella is first 3/5. So 3/5 is 1,500. So the interest on capital for Bella is going to be 1,500. 2,500 into 3/5. So C is the answer. So C 1,500 is the answer. A company uses the revenue reserves to make a bonus issue of ordinary share. This is also a technical question. Students might find it difficult and wrong. What account should be debited and credited to record this? Remember that we have been always thinking about this, that bonus shares are always issued and share capital is going to be credited and the amount is taken from share premium. But that is wrong answer. Share premium debit, share capital credit, wrong answer. Answer is A. General reserve debit and share capital credit. Why, sir? Listen, a company uses revenue reserve to make bonus issue of share. Means that company is not using share premium. Company is using either general reserve or retained earning. So which account should be debited and credited? General reserve is going to be debited. Okay. G. So next is 18. The company had an issued share capital of 4 lakh, ordinary share of $1 each. It then made a bonus issue of 1 ordinary share for every 5 ordinary share held. This was later followed by a right issue of 1 ordinary share for every 3 ordinary share held. What was the balance on the share capital account after these transactions? So I will repeat it again because there was some net issue. Issued share capital is 4 lakh of $1 each. It then made a bonus issue of 1 ordinary share for every 5 ordinary share held. Okay, let's do it.
सर आपकी आवाज नहीं ठीक आ रही,
बेटा
स्क्रीन भी नहीं शेयर हो रही।
स्क्रीन शेयर नहीं हो रही, अभी भी नहीं हो रही। अब हो रही है शेयर, ओके। Okay. So company had an issued share capital of 4 lakh ordinary share of $1 each. It then made a bonus issue of 1 ordinary share for every 5 ordinary share held. This was later followed by a right share issue of 1 ordinary share for every 3 ordinary share held. What was the balance on the share capital account after these transactions? Let's calculate that. Old shares are 4 lakh and we have issued 1 ordinary share for every 5 ordinary share. Bonus shares are issued 1 for every 5. So divide by 5. So it means that 80,000 bonus shares are issued. Now the shares are going to be 4,80,000 because the price of the share is 1 only. That's easy. Now, this was later followed by right issue of 1 ordinary share for every 3. So 4,80,000 divided by 3. So that is going to be 3 1s are 3, 1,60,000. So 4,80,000 plus 1,60,000, that is going to be 6,40,000. So the answer is going to be 6,40,000. So the share capital after these transaction is going to be 6,40,000. So D is going to be the answer for this MCQ. That is quite easy. Next, the company's statement of financial position includes the following details: bank debit balance, ordinary share capital 10 lakh, share premium 2 lakh, revaluation reserve 1 lakh, general reserve 1 lakh, retained earnings 4 lakh. What is the maximum total dividend the director can propose? What is the maximum total dividend the director can propose? We remember that director can propose the dividend, whatever the bank they are having, the amount in the bank they are having, right? And the general reserve, the revenue reserves. Because remember that, the dividends are always paid through revenue reserves, right? So what is the maximum amount total dividend director can propose, right? That is going to be A, 3 lakh, right? Why not 5 lakh? Because general reserve is 1 lakh, retained earnings are 4 lakh. So 5 lakh reserves are available. But we don't have enough cash in the bank. That is only 3 lakh. So the maximum total dividend the director can propose is A,